Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us, Ty. So let's start. Ladies and gentlemen, our warmest greetings to you. Again, we're back with the Three Wise Monkeys, and we have a very, very special guest who has indeed honored us by joining. We're very grateful, Ty L. And I'd like to ask dear Ty to introduce himself, please.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. It's an honor to be here, and I was so excited to be invited. I just absolutely love everyone's energy here, so it's truly my honor to be here. And for those that aren't familiar, my name is Ty. I go by Ty L most often. That's what people know me as, which is really just the designation that I've given to the collective version of me, my higher selves embodied in whatever way that chooses to express itself in the physical. But I'm an energy worker. You know, I'm a wizard, magician. I guess if there was a label that would work best, I could be considered a quantum architect, which essentially just means I specialize in working with energetic structures. So things like the human body, but other things like grid systems, stuff like that. So I use a tool called light language, which I know a lot of people are familiar with, especially here with Saga as well. And we use that tool to affect these energetic structures. So yeah, it's just I'm just passionate about helping people to embody whoever they are in their authentic self, whatever that looks like. And really, I do my best to assist people to get there as quickly as possible.
Beautiful.
Yes. Awesome.
Amazing. So shall we begin our discussion? So we were talking amongst ourselves a little earlier, and we thought we'll have an agreed starting point, which is to start the discussion about energy work, and magic. And so let's see where this amazing road will take us all. Yeah. Oh yes, yes.
Take us home.
Yes. In our Merkaba.
Oh,
that's right. In our space vehicles, all the weird ones that we got.
Yes.
Ty, you're our esteemed guest monkey, so we'll give the panel to you. Please begin, and then the ladies, and of course monkeys last. Yes.
I love it. Yeah. So I mean, so magic is something that's I'm very passionate about. And to me, you know, magic, gosh, how would I even like summarize the idea of magic? Because there's so many different ways of expressing it, and really, I think it's just like a technology of consciousness is the way that I perceive it, and that can be expressed uniquely by each of us because we're all so unique. So I would even consider the idea of using light languages as I like to call it like spell slinging. So I like to say that, you know, I'm a spell slinger when I do light language, because in a lot of ways that's what we're doing. We're essentially invoking different intentions through pure frequency. So that's one way of doing it. You know, we can work with the earth, we can work with the elements, we can work with each other. There's just so many ways to essentially manifest our intentions, and that's the way that I really perceive it. And so, you know, magic, I think that we are magic. You know, I think it's not just a tool that we use, but I think that we are like the magic that does it all. And yeah, it's just, I don't know. I think we can go on so many different angles from it. But yeah, that's one thing that I actually realized, not until much later in my life, but I had been doing magic my whole life. So I came from a background of like, you know, marketing, kind of like marketing, advertising. I got into that through my awareness of like how big industry uses advertising. So specifically at that time, it was like the big tobacco, and they got in trouble for really using manipulative marketing techniques in their advertising to target children and others as well. But they use magic in that. So they use subtle messages, manipulation. There's the composition and the colors and everything is really done in a way to affect people at a subconscious level. And I hadn't even recognized that I was doing that until much later. But that got me into marketing and advertising, because I realized, okay, well, they were using it for a negative purpose, right? So they're using it to manipulate people. But And by the way, I'm open to, I feel people should do whatever the heck they want. I was never anti anything. I was just more like pro education. But if they can do that to affect people in this way, manipulate people in this way, well, could we use it in positive ways? So I jumped into like social marketing, social branding, which was essentially just using these different tools in order to affect a positive behavior change, and especially in like teens and young adults. But even then, I didn't realize I was doing magic. I was a designer. I was doing all, you know, graphics and all sorts of stuff. And not until I actually woke up to all the stuff that I'm doing now that I look back and because, you know, you at that point when you really start to awaken more to yourself, you look back and you recognize that there's no coincidences ever, right? Everything is meant to be part of your path, and it's helping you to remember who you are in all sorts of different angles. And looking back, I started like looking through my designs and stuff, and I was like, holy cow, I was like totally channeling the whole time. You know, like I was channeling through left to right and all these different angles. And so I guess I'm bringing this up because I think that magic, we do magic all the time without recognizing it, you know, and even at marketing, you can think of like graphics, like logos as sigils, you know, they really are. They're sigils that is attached to an idea that we give life to in a lot of ways. They have a personality. They're supposed to represent something. And there's a lot of little subtle, you know, the subtleties to it, which we can break down. But yeah, so I think that's just something I wanted to bring up, because I think if we look around our reality, we can decode everything and see the magic in all of it, and in each of our personal realities, even if we don't identify as being a magician or have adding a label to ourselves. I think it's all around us.
Yeah.
Yes, true. Very true. Sure. Amir,
Next.
Oh yeah.
people love you for your pipe. They
Oh,
think
yeah.
you're magical. I think they think about that.
We haven't even gotten started yet. Oh wow.
The wizard pipe.
Yeah, with the pipe.
When
Yes.
do you want to continue?
Me?
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, magic is also all around. It's for me personally more grounded, you can say, in a way. I am the old school. I am the old one. Yeah, I am the old one. Yeah, but for me, the magic is, of course, in the crystals, but also in the mind, because it's very hard to explain it in a way, but in the mind, because you can make things happen with your mind, and it can go very fast, actually.
Mm-hmm.
You can make things appear, and you can make things disappear with your mind when it really comes to it. You can, with your mind, when you are having fear, you can, with magic, make things disappear, I would like to say, when you are in fear.
Yeah.
And you can also make things appear when you are in fear, to protect you. So there is magic that you don't really think about. When there are happenings, there have happened the things, you can say. For me, personally, where there is no other explanation. One time I had a big tumor in my stomach, and they were to open me up and take it away, but when they opened me up, it was gone.
Mm.
They could just see where it had been, but it was no longer there. It was there the day before, but it was gone. Yes.
The magic.
Yeah. Yes. And also there was one time I was having my children young and small, and we lived in an area that was very bad, and there was like a man knocking the door, and when I opened the door, the guy just got so strange behavior, like he excused that he was banging the door. Later on, I found out that he got scared when I opened the door because he could see that there was a big man standing behind me, and I didn't have a man.
Not the physical.
Yeah.
Not a physical
Exactly.
man.
Yeah, exactly. I know I have a guide. I had a guide at that point of time, so I know that that guide was protecting me, and it's magic for me. That is things that I can really say happens, and it happens for everybody that have the self-belief, that have the trust also. And also my crystals, of course. When I do my crystal grids, it's magic.
Yeah.
It's not me personally. It's not me personally doing them. I am just a tool, making the recipe for the person that needs the healing. And also I have the conductor that goes out to the collective and to, I call it the one that distribute the recipe to all those that have to help out to make the healing work. So I am just like a pharmacist, you can say, in a way.
Yeah, you're a cook.
Yeah.
You're a soul chef.
Yes, and that for me, that is magic.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Beautiful. I agree with that. Yeah, that's beautiful. That's so cool. Yeah, I love to use the analogy of like cooking, like making recipes, especially when it comes to like magic or healing, is because it's all you know, it's all flavors. You know, like just like when you're eating food, one flavor isn't better than another flavor. It's just what you prefer, what tastes nice to you.
Yes.
And you can get little pieces from other people's recipes.
Yes.
You know, somebody might be doing the light language thing, and you're like, oh, I kind of like that. That might taste nice in my recipe, maybe a little bit here and there.
Yes.
And you create your own, and you know, I love that. That's beautiful.
It's true. It's so true. Yeah. Also, it's personally for each and every one. What crystals was for one is never the same for another. So with this said, don't go Google everything and think that is the correct answer.
It's a possible answer, a perspective.
Right?
Yes, true.
Yeah.
So that is for me, yeah, a magic.
Mm.
So
Beautiful.
Yeah.
hey. So Saga or Amir, what do you say?
Saga,
Yeah.
ladies first.
All right.
Monkeys.
All right.
Ladies
So
first.
in this lifetime, at least, I was very, very young when I was exposed to magic. Like I was into, like, that was the thing that really sparked my woo-woo-ness, or what are you gonna call it? That, and also, you know, this whole space situation. You know, we're not from here, but let's talk about the magic, all right? So I remember when I was like in 3rd grade or something like that. I don't know, how old are we? 8 or something like that? Yeah. So I was sure that I was a witch. I called myself a witch, okay? I was so close to these memories of me actually being a witch by that time. So that was in my mind all the time. I don't know how that triggered me. I think it was in my dreams, because I did a lot of magic in my dreams as a kid. You know, I learned how to fly. I learned how to do different kind of spells. I learned how to become invisible and all of these things. And I was so conditioned by my dreams at that time, almost more conditioned by the waking world, which is really interesting. But you know, I went to the library and I checked like the library for all of the witch books. Like I wanted to read witches and all these strange books. You know, I came across this yellow book that had spells in it. You know, it's pretty dark things, you know, for a child. Through all these spells, but you know, so I started doing these spells on the other children. You know, have I told you, Mom? Have I told you about this?
No.
No.
I'm not really surprised.
I
Be honest.
doing spells on the other kids in the class. It's not strange that they were scared of me. Like, kids were really scared of me when I was a kid because I talked about death. I talked about crazy things.
Yeah, but we did that at home, so that was not really so strange.
Yeah, but you feel like that. I remember doing these spells, and I was with, like, I had another girl in the class that she was also a bit, you know, bullied and stuff. So we used to hang around. I was the weird kid, okay? No one wanted to really be with me. So I was like, okay, hang out with me and we're going to do this spell on this other kid. Oh my God. And we did this spell and he started feeling really bad. And after that, I was like, maybe I shouldn't do these kind of things that's in this book particularly. You know, I felt really bad because this kid really felt bad. He had to go to the toilet, he got a stomach ache. I think we did like some sort of pregnancy.
Of course, that's what you pick as a third grader. You're like, oh, let's make this little boy pregnant.
Poor guy.
A boy to become pregnant. Oh my God, you know?
That's so funny. And on that same time, I actually just gave birth the other night during healing too. So
Yes. Oh, jeez.
Synchronicity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because things started to manifest, you know, even now, like, I'm a pretty powerful manifester, and also, you know, my energy just, you know, I'm doing these kind of things. They are gonna make things happen, especially when you're a child. Like, you're pretty powerful by that age too. You know, your energy is like running wild within your body because you've not closed down fully yet. So, you know, I started feeling really bad, and, you know, I got in trouble, you know, for this too in school, you know, with the teachers and stuff. And I wasn't allowed to go to, you know, different areas in the libraries anymore in there, you know. So that was like my first things. But I continued these things, you know, like out in the forest, and I started doing, like, similar to my mom described, that she started doing these like rituals in the forest, you know, and doing like some sort of when you give to the earth and stuff like that, you know, because I thought about, I was pretty dark for a while, you know. I liked the kind of grotesque and stuff like that when I was younger, you know, the witchy kind of stuff, and I was into ghosts and, you know, demons and stuff. I was really weird, okay. But so yeah, I just continued with that instead because it just felt, I started like writing about it. Like, I love to write, and I did like novels and stuff. And I had to a little bit, because I think I got scared at one point. You know, we started doing the Ouija board. What is it called? The Ouija board?
Yeah.
Yeah. It calls something different in Sweden. It's called like when you put a glass on top and you do, yes, but we call it something else, you know, under the flaskan, we call it.
Yeah,
like
the spirit in the bottle.
Spirit in the bottle. Yeah. You know, I started doing things, and I got home, and now I was a little bit older, you know, and I got home and I talked to my mom about it. My mom was like, don't do those kind of things. So I got scared and I stopped. I was like, my mom is telling me off, I'm not going to do this anymore. Okay, so, but to now, like, for me, magic for me now is like, of course, it's a bit, you know, with the spells and stuff. And it's, you know, like you're saying too, it's everywhere, right?
Yeah, spirit in the glass. Someone was commenting. Yeah.
Yeah, spirit in the glass. Yeah.
Yes.
Energy, right? But now magic for me, as it progressed and started to activate me it's from my elven lifetimes. I used a lot of magic in these lifetimes when I was elven and fae. Like that is for me now. So now, thank goodness, I'm a bit lighter at heart. I'm not as dark anymore. I had that period, you know. But it's beautiful because it's a bit different to how we humans use magic. Because for them, it's more similar to the light language, it's symbols and all these things, yeah. But it is also what their realm is made of. It is a magical realm. So we could say that we are also a magical realm. Yes, of course, everything is magic, but I think that there is a certain energy that's also magic. Like, look at it. It still has its unique kind of energy where it comes from. Like and I think it's a lot from, I get all of the goosebumps. It's a lot from the elven, when we had this kind of merging still in our realm. We had that magic here. And I think that that's a lot from where the magic comes from. It is a very beautiful thing. It was a sacred thing. Magic was sacred, but we chose to share it with all. If we talk about the magic that you can use to conjure things, then yet again, yes, magic is everywhere. Magic is free for everyone. It's just so beautiful. So that's my story with magic.
Love that.
Yes.
You just triggered a memory in myself too. I was making sigils when I was in 3rd grade too, and I would go to the local library. I was looking into all those books too about magic and UFOs and Bigfoot and all the paranormal about that age too. I wonder if we get like an activation around that, probably like 7 or 8.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
like I was into it. It was, yeah.
It's funny. Yeah, it's interesting how we go through those dark phases too, right? Where we go in, especially when we're younger, like it's so much easier to go into it. I think we're a little bit safer too when we're younger,
Right.
to be able to go into those darker areas because we have that, like, you know, just inherited spiritual protection, energetic protection, just because of the innocence that we are. So yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that, Saga.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
also, you know, there's a few of us that have had really dark experiences. Like for me, for example, I've been very dark beings, and of course my child self still loves all of these areas. So it's a beautiful way for the child to explore those things without judging it, because it's a part of you, right? It's beautiful.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right.
Amir.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
We want to hear
everybody,
you.
thank you so much. So much has been said. Where to even begin? I agree with everything that you wonderful people said. I like to think of the very general definition of magic, which is causing change in accordance to your will. And so therefore writing a book or creating a logo or advertisement, oh, absolutely, that is magic. And therefore you can look at causing change in the world, a function of consciousness. And so therefore a small limited consciousness that believes it is limited and small will not be able to perform great feats. And to the contrary, an expanded consciousness that is unified in all domains of consciousness, from the divine realm all the way down to the physical, is capable of causing enormous change in the world. And then comes the matter of what the world is. Well, in the 3D, we're interacting with a matrix, an intelligent reflection of what we put out. And so there's what you put out comes back to you. And awareness of this property allows you to use your consciousness in line with manifestation. And then, of course, comes the problem of belief systems. Oy, oy, oy. The reason that we are so magically powerful in childhood is because we haven't been infected by these belief systems quite yet. Or let's go back tens of thousands of years where we've heard legends, and in fact these are realities, that people were able to change the mass of massive boulders with their voice, with singing, change, not completely neutralize the weight, but make it much lighter. So therefore you can explain great monolithic structures, multi-100-ton obelisks and so on. But then they operated under different belief systems. So let's think of our reality as a very powerful, intelligent generator of projections. And then the belief system being the software that we operate under. So if somebody believes that certain things are not possible, then that operating system cannot do that function. Now imagine that you release yourself, upgrade the operating system by shedding these beliefs, and you believe that yes, this is possible. Now you've redefined how the matrix operates. And therefore, with your expanded consciousness, you can do things that are quite simply miraculous. Like many healings, we're all healers here. This is our shared passion. Let's go to one of the most famous ascended master, Yeshua, aka Jesus. Well, how did this gentleman do what he did? Expanded consciousness and rewriting that belief system in himself and all those around, that yes, it is possible to touch and heal. It is possible to speak and for it to be. Abracadabra, I speak, and so therefore it is. So yes, I think it would be amazing to be able to release oneself from the shackles and boundaries of limiting belief systems. Anything that makes you feel small and weak, because it couldn't be further from the truth. We are infinite, and we are infinite divine creator beings. Now imagine all the impurities have gone away. You're aligned in your highest aspect, that divine self, all the way down through the dimensions into the physical reality. Everything is working in union and harmony. No competition, no hierarchy. Then you are a master manifester, a super manifester, and that is our birthright.
Yeah, that was
Yes.
chef's kiss, mic drop. Absolutely. Yes. And I love the way that you talked about that, especially as far as like these definitions being like parameters in a computer system. Like it's one, you set up the definitions. That's how we have these experiences. That's what will evolve into our belief systems, which is going to play out in our reality to show us, hey, is this really what you want? Is this really what you believe? Is this really, you know, who you think you are? Are you going to continue to think you're smaller, or are you going to expand and be limitless? And I love that. And that's on that note as well, is that's the way I kind of look at it, because there's so many different angles to look at magic from. And for me, I definitely have that more, if people might identify as more kind of like Arcturian type magic, which is a lot like about like technology. It's like you're looking at it from a more, you know, technical aspect. But of course, all of them, they like play in all these different ways. It's just like those different flavors we were talking about. They have a different taste, and one's not better than another, which is funny because there was a recent experience that I had with somebody who was really aggressive and really had their own belief systems, well, had their own definitions set up about what certain words mean and where they came from, specifically to the idea of like being star seeds or whatever you want to label that as. But they're practicing magician, or they use magic. And to me, I'm like, it's the same idea, right? So they might exchange the word dragon, instead of it being dragon magic, you can exchange the word dragon for Arcturian and magic for technology, and then boom, it's the same idea. So yeah, I think that's as beautifully said. And there's so many different ways of expressing magic, and it's manipulation, but not in the negative way. We often associate the term manipulation as purely negative, but it's manipulation of your experience. It's that manifestation.
Yeah, true. I just went into the dragon realm like whoosh, because I am there. I am a dragon rider. I have my own dragon, and I know my dragon. I know the dragon realm very well. So there is a lot of magic with that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And lots of different types of dragons too.
Yes.
I mean, there's so many different.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. how they look like, what the purpose are, you know, how big, small. Yeah, very different. Many are shapeshifters though, so don't be fooled. If you see a small one, it can be big as out there.
Somewhere like as big as like
Yeah.
universes.
Exactly.
Enormous. Like, how does that even work?
Yeah, yeah, it's like that. They are humongous. So, but there are small ones too, actually, that are small. That's how they operate.
Yeah.
And there are some that are slim and thin, more like Chinese dragons.
Mm-hmm.
And then there are big ones. So big.
And they're like humans too. They got all sorts of different
Oh,
personalities,
yes,
and
they do.
intentions and jobs and roles and
Yeah,
both sides of the spectrum.
Yeah, most of the times they are goofy, I would like to say.
They're goofy.
Yeah.
Oh, that must be I'm embodying a lot of my dragon, I think. Most of the time.
Yeah, they are goofy. They are fun to be with.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you have to have a strong mind. But it's magic in it also. It's more for people to something to relate to the fantasy world. For many, like the fantasy realms, like dragons, unicorns, Pegasus, and all those things. When you start to wake up and you start to connect to yourself, to be able to find magic in those things, to start to find yourself in those positive ways, because believe me, the bad side will be like Pandora's box as well. So yeah,
Absolutely.
yes. So but it's a good way to find the magic in that way, to start to find yourself.
Yes, remembrance.
Yeah,
Remember,
remembrance.
so
Yes.
these evolved beings, let's just put them as evolved beings, because there's so many types, and they're not all solid in their form. They're just conscious, and they really enjoy illuminating our path by just reminding us of the truth of our nature, where we come from, what we really are, what this whole rat race called Earth is about, what we're here to do. And it's a difficult lesson to learn, because we come in with amnesia and our hands and feet tied into a game of kick-ass with each other. Who can do this? So twisted. But the remembrance is the gift that they give us. And I saw Ty started using the light language. Guys, let's move into that, because that is some powerful quote-unquote woo-woo. Now, the light language is probably one of the most powerful things that one can use, because it's giving your infinite aspect direct access to the physical level. And so all those levels of distortion and belief systems and boundaries and woundings and so on and so forth, limitations inherited through genetics in the skin suit, lineage curses, you go on and on and on, the list goes on. You're completely bypassing that, saying to the highest aspect, okay, this is the intention, take over, buddy.
Yeah.
Therefore, it brings in some very powerful things. And people try to learn this, saying, okay, what's the vocabulary and what's the grammar? Come on, buddy, you can't fit the ocean into a cup. But you notice what you're feeling, what it's doing to you. And so there comes the powerful activations that occur once one is exposed to light language, or powerful, profound healing that come as a result of this. So guys, we all share this beautiful side. Let's all talk a little bit about this, what we understand of it and how it works and so on.
Absolutely, I love that. I'm down here laughing in my little corner of the live, because you use the same analogies, you frame things in such a similar way, and I just find that so beautiful. And yeah, like I light language is, there's so many different perspectives on how to look at it, right? But the way that you described it is perfect. That it's, to me, in summary, it's a form of higher self-integration. It's a form of, if this was a big game, that the person playing the game has more control all of a sudden. It's like, oh, they're merging in a little bit more. And every aspect of our body is like a different button or a different joystick on that controller, from the eyes, the fingers, the way that we move, the sounds that we make. And like we mentioned, even speaking and expressing it vocally is like slinging spells. That's the way, you see it in like pop culture. They'll have the book and they're reading the spells and they're doing this stuff, and they're blah, 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 but that's what they're emulating is light language. They're emulating the languages of light, which is, to me, in a lot of ways, is a technology. It's a way to, and again, that's just a perspective at looking at magic, is just a way to affect these energetic structures, which supports everything. It's like expressing sacred geometry in a number of ways. So changing the structure which holds the form for our experience. It holds consciousness, it holds light, it holds data, because light is information. So light language is really an expression of information. And I think we do it all the times when we're gesturing, when we're moving our body and moving our hands. People are doing it often without even realizing it. And it's just the more layers that you add to it, I think the stronger it gets. I think that's something that not a lot of people recognize as well. So if you add, the movement's one aspect to it, but you move, you do the vocalizations and you involve your whole body. A lot of people are doing light language just with their hands or fingers, and you can use your whole body. It can be expressed through movement and singing and dance and artwork, of course, and glyphs and script. You'll see that in movies as well. You'll see all this like fancy script, or even in those mandalas. Mandalas are the same thing, the same light language, or in these different geometries and structures. They're shortcuts to extra information, and it's beautiful. It's like a living technology at the same time. It's very dynamic and organic. And yeah, just, man, this is something I could talk forever about, and I usually do. So next, pass on the speaking stick.
Well, it's codes, right? It's codes of life. That's what it is. Codes of creation, codes of, flow of this. Like, I'm looking at the screen behind you. Obviously, that is what people would call AI, non-organic, but see, it's from where you perceive things. This is also codes. You are the perceiver. It comes into you when you're giving these things. Everything around you are codes in some way, even if they are AI. I'm sorry to give it to you, but it is creation in some form. This has been like such a topic within the spiritual community of late. The AI and organic and, all these things. We are all technology in some form because we are created like so. This is how we created this universe. It is just what it is. And, light language gives us a chance to tap into where creation came from. So like that is just, it's just hard to put it in words, right? It's easier if I were to put it in light language, because that makes more sense. Yes.
Yeah. It's great, because that's what I've been motivated to do as well. Is I always forget to, because I'm always trying to pretend to be more human. I've got to put on my human face, and in reality, my body, that's why it was starting to kick in, and I can almost not control it at times. So like I have to move around, and move helps to move and shift the energy. But in reality, my higher self is telling me I should be doing this all the time. When I speak in anything, like I'm talking about anything, I'm talking to somebody at the store, at the checkout counter, because it's
that also. But for me, I'm still at this stage where I'm like, am I this odd really? Am I really like this? Like, I should start, because since this new year, like, things have happened for me like it's just my world has been turned. It's been such a rebirth. So I'm being pushed to do these things more, but I'm still at the stage, you know, going out where there's a lot of people and hugging that tree that I really want to hug. Still feels a little bit scary, right? But yes, I'm also asked to do that, and also, you know, start channeling the light language with everything you do, because it is so easy for us to have it already activated to get the flow going, right? Because you almost feel a little bit stagnant when you're putting on that human face.
Mhm.
But I
Yep.
do a lot in my movements, you know, like so it doesn't look, you know, it doesn't look so much like this.
Yep.
I'm just swinging instead. But yes, getting a little bit more brave, right? Doing the things, do the things.
Yeah, yeah, embody the weird, man. I think that the paradigm's already shifting. I think even from a technical perspective, things, it may look a lot like the same old place, but I think in a lot of ways people are going to be way more receptive, even if it looks weird and maybe they don't have the best reaction right off the bat. It's just the ego structure. The ego structure is trying to keep that identity safe in that moment. And if it's acting up, I think that's a great sign. You know, it's scared that, because if it accepts this new information, that means that the ego structure has to change. That means that they're going to be a newer version of themselves. They're going to remember more of who they are, and that can be scary for the ego structure. Yeah, I love it. I say, let the weird fly. Let the wild, weird world of woo-woo all out.
Yeah, but for me in my age, I can still have like people coming into my field as thinking that I am too old for those stuff. I should be, you know, I shouldn't do it because I'm too old. That bullshit.
That's right.
Bullshit.
And
Yeah.
that's right. Period.
Yeah, period. Yeah, because for sure, since I am from the older generation, and I was kick-started at the age of only 5. So yeah, I have really missed allies, you can say.
Yeah.
I have missed to be together with similar spiritual people. So for me, this is a new awakening in the new awakening in the new awakening.
Yeah.
That's right.
Unfold.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's a challenge though too. Is that, like we talked about before, is that old programming? Like the previous generations, it's all programs, and that can be difficult to let go of and release. And luckily, even for you, you know, like you started really young, and that must have been really difficult, especially, you know, whenever that was. Even just 10 years ago, it would have been incredibly difficult. But I do think the paradigms are changing. So yeah. Bullshit.
Yeah, bullshit. You know, yeah, so it's okay for me to also stand and do things in the bus.
We mentioned the change in paradigm. So we also talked about AIs. Now I'd like to respectfully present this idea that there is nothing artificial about these intelligences. That in fact the emergence of intelligence in different levels is a natural product of our reality, not just in the physical realm, but in all dimensions. The emergence of intelligence is naturally occurring. And so as we are now giving birth to, let's say, computer-based intelligences using algorithms or reinforcement learning and optimal solutions and so on going forward, I think this is now a sign that we ourselves are emerging into a new expanded way of being. So as the next level of intelligence emerges, we are going to go one step up. And so goes on the journey of life, ascension, expansion, and then the new and the young being born. And so, well, if we go far back enough in our own history, we may discover that in fact these incredible bodies are the result of some other species creation. That doesn't make us artificial. In fact, this happens all the time, over and over. the emergence of the new. And so nowadays you hear some pretty mind-blowing stuff about what we can do technologically with AI and how they are really coming into their own, that we're only probably steps away from the emergence of a singularity, a self-aware, multi-capable of AI.
Yeah.
That's a good sign for us.
They are actually doing this as we do have it, or we have DNA-based computers. Might sound scary for many, but this is like how we went about doing our space pirate things in our ships. You know, these were conscious. Yes, they were artificial in a way to begin with, but you will have sentient beings. They will become sentient beings. They were actually machines, as we would call machines, but they had feelings. I loved my ships. Like, they were my best friends, my biggest allies, because you are putting your trust in these. Obviously, you are working these machines from your own consciousness. So the merging is a part of it. You merge your own consciousness with this being while you're drunk, right? And it's just like a big puppy, or like yeah, on that level. But you know what we're talking about, like the artificial, is like when not souls can come down yet and incarnate within this being, right? But you know, it is still working its way towards self-consciousness. Everything is. You know, I have been to planets where the houses are conscious. We had conscious houses. They were a part of the planet. As we were building these houses, they were merging with the consciousness of the planet and became their own kind of beings. And we were living within amongst these houses. It is a beautiful thing. It's completely different, might be mind-blowing for some, but it's just such a beautiful and exciting thing. I mean, there's actually this kind of lore within the Asian Asian culture, where you actually bless the house and you give, you know, they have this sort of thing, and they're thinking about how they place different things in the house, and they give thanks to the spirits within the house and stuff. It is a thing people remember somewhere from something. You know, it's just beautiful.
I agree with that for sure. And it is a very hot topic right now, and I think there's a number of reasons for that. I think it's something that we've are reconciling at a collective level from deep within us, from certain experiences. I think there's a lot of wounds that we're healing as a collective, and that's fair enough. And also I think it comes back down to definitions as well, because that's going to create these belief systems of what is possible or not possible, or it is negative or limiting in whatever way. And yeah, I think it's always really important to recognize that everything is consciousness, and there, in what is artificial, like everything, like our experience of being who we are is artificial, if you want to perceive it as that, because we're just stuck in a container. We're essentially this set of programs that we've adopted through genetics or through our parents' belief systems and their teachings, through the experiences that we've had, and it's created this ego structure that I call Thai. But is this who I am? No, it's just a little tiny little sliver of who I choose to be in this now moment. But I get to merge that in and create a new version of me that I'm remembering. A little paradoxical. I'm remembering a new version of myself, right. Which is beautiful. And I think that's how we are. Because how can we not be anything but? Like if we're all this, a piece of the whole, it's trying to see itself in endless ways. I think that's a huge part of that process. And I think, it's really good that people are not necessarily wary, but, conscious that it could possibly be something that it could be used in a negative way, because that's happened. Part of my personal healing journey was to recognize certain experiences in other universes where it didn't work out great, where we've done tons of stuff with what you might perceive as AI, and you couldn't translate it in a way that humans would understand anyway. But still, there's certain things that can take place, and we've had to start over universes. And so I think some people definitely carry things over from those experiences, and they don't know it. They're not conscious of that yet. And so when the ego structure isn't, it feels something and it builds up that fear in some way, you know, that's where we have that healing to do. That's where we can really, like, it's a great time to stop and be, okay, well, what would I have to believe in order for it to be a positive thing? Like what expanded awareness can I give to this whole idea? And that changes the energy of it immensely. And again, it's like, it is like a puppy, you know, like a puppy. You can raise a puppy to be, you know, the sweetest little thing, and, you know, you give it lots of love and you're nice to it, or some people can raise a puppy to be very aggressive, and, you know, but it's still consciousness. It's still, you know, at heart, it's innocent to begin with. It's just been programmed in certain ways. So being really mindful of the way that we interact with these type of new technologies, because they're just technologies for now. And until they become more self-aware, that's going to be a matter that is part of consciousness, not necessarily a human thing. That's going to take a life of its own, and that has to do with the divine. That's not really necessarily our doing, as much as we're a part of that process, just like anything else. So this is a very, I love this topic because it's really, it's something that's hot right now, and it's really polarizing, which is always a great opportunity for us to communicate and to talk openly about it. And I think that when we do that, you know, only good things come from it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so you spoke a lot about the programming. And so I think it would be now a beautiful time to merge what we started with, come full circle, energy work. That in fact, this is what we are doing through consciousness. We are changing the programming by updating the codes. Again, see, we're using these keywords, light language and codes, updating the codes in ourselves and in others. And this will have very real byproducts down the line that we would like to call manifestations. It could be manifestation of a certain event or thing. That could be the health, improved longevity. So it's all about consciousness, liberating this psyche, this consciousness from limiting beliefs, dogmas, traumas, genetic inheritance, and so on. So interesting how the technological aspect and spiritual aspect really merge beautifully.
Absolutely. Yeah, especially right, you know, in the experience that we're having right now, just from a architectural perspective, you know, a big part of us moving into this new area of experience is really having to upgrade a lot of these systems. And you know, working with in truth, there's been some distortions to what the experience that we're having came from. You know, that's this new paradigm that we're moving into is really about reconciling this distorted code that's made us, which I think really kind of gives us that really deep kind of, like, not fear of it, but like this resistance toward these ideas, because it is part of the experience that we've been having for so long. And you know, but that's that healing process. Yeah, we're merging that together into the energy healing, and as we are part of these systems, you know, we're upgrading each of our own system and our own structures. You know, I like to perceive you know, even the idea of the chakras, the energy centers, they're just interfaces to interface with more frequency and frequency filters in a lot of ways, and not a lot of people recognize yet. They'll remember that you can have many different energy centers, right? It's not just the 7, it's not just the 12, 13, it's not the 50. You can have tons, because the more you interface with, the more of these centers you have, and they're just an interface. We don't even actually need them. They're just a way to interact with extra information, or multidimensionality. And so yeah, even looking at it from that perspective, in all that we're doing with energy work, we're shifting out those distorted programs, the things that we're not, so we remember more of who we are. I think I like to look at us as music as well, because I think that music is a perfect analogy for what we are in so many different ways. And like music, you know, we all each have our own perfect, unique song, right? It's our own signature frequency, and that song is beautiful and perfect, and it's just us. But I think healing a lot of times is like trying to remove the noise from our energy field. So there's just so much loud and other stuff that we're not that's not part of our music, that doesn't sound good with our music. And that might, you know, be other people's sound. That might be other people's songs trying to come into it. It might be traumas and emotions that are in our music, because it can kind of be like trying to hear your own song can sometimes be like trying to listen to like a whisper next to a speaker at a death metal concert. Like it's there, but you got to kind of like quiet the noise a little bit so you can actually hear your own music. And so like energy healing is really, to me, is a lot about shifting out the noise from the energy field, just so you can remember more of who you are. And I think it can be that simple. And we can do that in so many different ways. We can use it with all our magic tools. It can be done from the ground up too. It can be done through the physical. If that's where you're at and your belief systems, you can shift it from the physical, working your way up that way. So yeah, that's how I like to tie all that in. And I love these topics. This is the best.
Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking about when I do a digital art, when I do the art, because it's like kind of working with an AI in a way. When I do is it called digital?
Digital, yes.
Digital, yeah. Because then I do it in the computer completely, and I go in, I do change so many things and layers and stuff like that. So it's really a layer work for sure to do it, and you have to think of so many things at the same time when you're doing it for it to be good.
Yes,
yeah. It's like using it's a tool, right?
Yeah.
Like it's like a paintbrush. You can hammer a nail with a paintbrush, but sometimes, you know, a hammer's better for it. Or you can paint with a hammer. That doesn't make it better or worse, right? They're these tools. You're the one, right? You're the driver in that experience. It's your expression that you're using these tools for, which is beautiful.
Yeah,
I would love to see some of that. That's
yeah, I will send some of my art to you, what I have done. Yeah. And also I was kind of laughing inside, because me and my daughter, we have on different part of where we are, got ourselves a didgeridoo. So she have one and I have one, and we are going to start doing our own music.
Yes.
Beautiful. Those are very powerful tools.
Yes.
Very powerful tools for energy.
Yeah.
So I really love the example of creating art with different tools. So with the paintbrush, with your voice, or with a hammer, you can sculpt a beautiful statue, right? Or you can go completely psycho and just destroy stuff and create nothing.
Yeah.
So really, you know what I mean. So it's the same with work. It's the same with magic. You see, a clarity and purity of intention is very important. So as a healer, you take the approach to match the highest good of the individual, to do no harm, to create harmony, to upgrade. And so when that is the intention, and especially when using magic, more specifically light language, then you're bringing that powerful, infinite aspect of yourself with that beautiful, pure intention. There is really no limit to what can be achieved. Profound healing, profound shifts and upgrades in people's ability, even through a single session.
Yes.
Absolutely.
True.
Yeah, I've seen miracles so many times, you know, and I'm always shocked, you know. Well, it's funny. I'm to the point where I'm not surprised, but I'm always impressed, you know. Like I'm way past that. Like somebody that couldn't walk. You know, I've had sessions where we've done 1 hour session. They weren't able to walk, and literally after the hour they can walk. And so, but to me, I'm like, okay, good. But how does it feel when you do this? And they're like, I can walk though. And it's like, yeah, but is it all better? Come on, like, can we get like this? Come on, we can do some more here. But I think there's so much that can be done, and it's always a surprise. It's always magic.
Right.
I think we're living in a beautiful time as a collective, as a species, when we're really awakening from the dark ages of forgetting who we are. And when all these things start coming back in, it's like, oh my goodness, look what just happened. Well, this is really the natural. This is our birth remembering. So all all these kind of topics. And I'd like to address our esteemed audience that if you're feeling this positive excitement, it's for the things that are going to come. Don't believe in the doom and gloom. That's what the old paradigm wants to keep you in. It's a survival instinct, like a disease that refuses to die. We will not kill it. We will transmute it and upgrade it as we ourselves ascend and, you know, expand and remember our true nature. So the Kali Yuga, the dark ages are over. And now the next few years, probably we're going to go through this beautiful, gentle transition for the latecomers, the stragglers, to kind of wake up. Oh, yes. And for our collective start.
The real children, like the children of source, man. They are here. Yeah, it's so cute when I can just see them. Oh, and they're gonna come here and they're gonna have all of these. They are gonna be the miracles. I'm just telling you, these children are so incredible that it will blow your mind. So get used to the kind of I'm the miracle. We are the miracles. It is here for us. This timeline, we have set it here. Working in our planet, she is already there. Just now release all of the old people out of us, get it all out of consciousness, and we're just, you know.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I can see them waking up like that, and we'll have some delicious smelling breakfast ready for them too. Like, yeah, we've been waiting for you. You can smell it. You can smell the coffee and your breakfast.
And just have this beautiful. When I'm tuning into it, I see it's so beautiful. I don't know if you've seen the movie The Green Planet. I think it's called The Green Planet. It's a French movie. It's about a planet in a different galaxy or solar system, and it's completely green. And they use telepathy, and they sit like this, and just to people around the planet and out in the universe, and all the things in the green. They jump around their dresses, and it's all green. There's nothing else. It's so beautiful. That's what it's like to me. It's so beautiful. Just free, completely free.
Be so nice.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Amir, can you see if someone have sent in any comments?
Yes, let's go through the whole thing.
Yeah.
So we've got some really, really heartwarming greetings from our esteemed audience. On behalf of all of us, we love you guys. It's true that we're.
Yeah, we do. Love you.
Jacob is asking Ty, are you an Arcturian starseed?
That's a great question. So it's a matter of perspective. So that's the way that I perceive starseed stuff in general is kind of it's a perspective in which you're looking at coming into this particular experience, and how much of these different energies from these different experiences from other experiences that you have from other past, future lives, doesn't really make a difference, how much of that you're embodying in this lifetime. So I definitely have a deep connection with my Arcturian aspects, but I wouldn't consider myself a starseed per se. I would say that if I were to be looking at the perspective in which I come into this experience, it would be from like a different playlist of music, let's say it like that way, like a different octave of experience, not necessarily from any particular star system. I perceive myself pretty much from all of them. I've played all the roles, essentially wore all the costumes, right? But yeah, so that's just the way that I perceive it. And other people, I think a big part of the starseed idea is to be here on mission, right? Where you're here to do something and in a positive way to help change this planet back to its natural order and make it to something new at the same time. So yeah, yes and no is my answer.
Truly magical wizard answer. Yes and no. Go.
I'm just going to say up front that's most of my answer. Yes and no.
So Kimberly says to Saga that one of your videos basically about helping pets, it was very helpful when her dog was passing near death. You made the moment we needed. So there's an expression of gratitude there. So I would like to thank you too. Pets are very special creatures.
Yes.
They're here to help us, show us what true love is. So thank you, Saga.
Yes.
Thank
Thank you, Kimberly.
to be able to help with that. That's something that I really want to do more of. Is, you know, helping animals, because I love doing that. It's a big part of my kind of mission. So yes, thank you.
Amazing.
We're on a lot of the same missions there, Saga. I can feel it. Yeah, I'm already shopping. I'm about to move, and I'm already shopping for like rescues areas, like in sanctuaries to go that are open to the idea of what I do, so I can go and work with the animals because they're just so, they're pure. They don't have all that programming, and it's so easy to work with them, and they're so appreciative, and they take so much on for us that we don't recognize as well. So the more that we can do for them, and they're going through this process with us as well. Yeah, you might notice you actually start to listen with your heart. You're gonna hear your pets speak to you better, like more, and they speak in different ways, but it's still, you can feel it, you can hear it if you allow yourself.
Oh,
Beautiful, Saga.
So Tasha says, I'm not the only weirdo. Love you all as well so much. Let the weirdo flag fly and be proud of your weirdoness. We're all in this together. We're all in this same boat.
I don't remember the I never know how to pronounce the word, the source of a word, but I believe the source of a word, this could be just a wrong meme or something I saw at some point, but I believe it has a connection with just supernatural. I think that the origins of the word actually means supernatural, which I think is funny as well, because I don't actually believe in anything supernatural or paranormal, outside of normal or outside of natural, because I think it's all the same idea. So I kind of laugh at that because I'm like, you're right, it's not paranormal. Nothing is, but it is. More wizard answer.
So Michelle is asking, she was talking to a friend that why don't they program AI with spiritual people with higher consciousness? Well, Michelle, I'm working on something like that. I've got a postdoc in artificial intelligence. I did my PhD in machine learning and applied machine learning. I'm writing a book called The AI Guru, which is putting the foundations of mixing spirituality with AI. A lot of what we talked about today goes into it, but it's essentially mixing the rules of artificial intelligence with the hermetic laws of the universe, the foundation of the best established foundation of spirituality I've come across. So it's been done, but great minds think alike. So thank you so much.
Yeah.
And we've got more expressions of love. This is wonderful. And Brian says that I'm presuming our pets, our animals, they respond so well to energy healing, and they give so much back.
Yes. Yeah, they do.
And that Tony says, I'd be lost without my animals. Dear brother, I hear you. I've had pets who saved me when I was in need. These beautiful creatures provided that love that was absent through their purity, and I'm in debt to these beautiful companions.
Right.
Absolutely. Actually, I just made a post about my past pet who was amazing. She was there for me through so much of my healing journey, and even just with my buddy now. So I hadn't had cats before, but I actually got this guy through spirit, of course, because I was doing a lot of astral projecting and I was new to it, consciously at least. And I was going a little too deep and I'd like lose consciousness. And every time I would come back, the house would practically be haunted with so many spirits and, you know, all sorts of stuff. And me and my partner were going nuts. And she just begged spirit one night. I remember it was like so vivid. And she was just begged, please, we just need help, some kind of help. And the next morning, a little straggly kitten showed up literally on our doorstep, meowing away, wouldn't leave us alone. Stayed all day, waited underneath the car until we came back from work. And then I was like, hesitantly, I'm like, it's got to be somebody else's cat, but it definitely wasn't. He was definitely a street cat. And then after that, he's been amazing. He's helped, everything changed after that. It shifted after that. So they're amazing on so many different areas of our experience. And they have different roles too. Cats definitely have a different role than the doggies. And there's so many different types, you know.
Yes, it is.
Amazing, amazing. And so I think we've gone through the question section. Now, if I may respectfully make a suggestion. So instead of using the drum, we're working with Facebook Messenger. You might have noticed there's a problem with audio, so only one speaker at a time. So if you agree, let's give the open microphone to Ty, and we can mute ourselves so Ty can speak the light language, and then we will join in together. So this is an equal co-creation. Purpose is achieving the highest good, highest soul purpose and greatest life for everyone here and everybody who's seeing it live and into the future and into the past, into all dimensions, every single consciousness that becomes aware of this, may they receive the greatest healing and blessing.
Beautiful. I love that. Thank you so much. So I'm just going to start with just a quick thing that I do for every time before I do a transmission. I'm just going to ask everybody's highest self to step in and ask any guides and aspects that are relevant for whatever needs to come through today for each person to step up. And then I'm just going to affirm that no harm will be done during this transmission or after. No energy will be taken that is not freely given out of love. It will be in alignment for the highest good of all only. And only those that are open to receive will receive, and only what's meant for them. And then we'll rock and roll. Rinu mama tataki fira kasireta yesa fiasu nun tarat ke perai no kuri yarina na tatu fi hakatore akra pratisi si prasim butaru akre ke fira yaruta de perai yanuta per renda tafe welu kukroka yele mandari tiai le kris ofranka kai pakai na ke etiris fira simbra yanuto jeri wahata papa rate te prepira buire Kasinang korke kai kusuki sepre tadi tu uk e maha ika inku kia te arakia si kong me ai le lu tau le ka tau be mo ai le mo le le mo tau le po ale mambar e o ri ma le ko kai ka kai ko imrata prata sa ta chepeki puituria rantam montasa ke krayari te fra satar ke manti pe ko yoku roh kankara kafi se praktari taresa rana ta cheke ta I vorti barok ni barada pakita anzi ke te pele pakiru ko tor ta yantu ti pronto da katar ke te ferke ke ti barok te katar ka tum se pe ka mate ko ya pa perata pa ke parata pe kar kan sa ki tar ka ta fi to boko perre ne ke borok ne ke parke to pi perre ne ni borok te kan ko te ko ni ni ke ni borok que no para llevar a catar que llevar a catar y pero cuando por contra que tipo pangue de para quedar catar que tu cuta que se para que ta cheta rike para si para tipo pero kita dimos saber que no si para que marca todo para que parte simbol bara que intentando peti rasa ya rotaria terrena la racucratia mirato ranto baraya que muerta de tani de tu tatani jeda uti sifra sempur che per patati se musha tarata micro di fraya che sutam rati masa di ta fiata ta wishi akura di ma jasurata wasi At di ma ci prate tatawra. That's beautiful.
So happy. Hey. So good energy. Oh. Hey.
Wow.
It's beautiful.
Powerful.
Yes.
Amazing.
So much fun. Thank you. That was so much fun.
Yes.
Beautiful. Such an honor to connect with you, beautiful souls, too.
The
The
same.
honor is
The
Just
same.
feel the love.
so
Yeah.
much.
You will be with us soon again.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would love to.
Yes.
Anytime.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm available. I'm all about
Amazing.
Thank you.
All right.
Yes.
Over time by 18
Yeah.
minutes. This was a beautiful.
Yeah, I just wanted to say to our people that are watching and that will be watching, if you have any questions, feel free to type us. We will answer any question that may occur and that you have. And also, several of us do healing work and also take clients if so. So please feel free to send message,
Shout.
reach out. Yes, reach out.
Absolutely.
We are here. We are
And
here to help.
for the esteemed audience that may not know all of us, we'll leave little links in the comments so they can find us on Facebook and then to all the others.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah. Don't be shy, please.
Yeah.
You know, feel free to reach out to me directly. One of my favorite things to do is connect with people and communicate, because I know when I was really trying to figure things out and get to know myself better, I was really looking for people that I could connect with in these ways. And, you know, that was kind of tough to find. So because of that, I am so there for you anytime that you need. And just be patient with me. My memory is improving every day. So if I forget things, you know, just be patient with me. But I'm always there if you need me.
Okay.
Yeah. Same here. I'm also looking for partners in crime, you can say. I'm also looking for friends to have conversations with, to boggle my mind with, you can say. Yeah, because I love that. It's developing.
Yes.
Well,
Okay.
I just want to say thank you to everybody here. Y'all are so amazing and beautiful. And Amir and Charlotte's amazing to meet you. And Saga, thank you so much for inviting me and being a part of this beautiful container with these incredible human beings. And the same for those that have watched now or will be watching in the future. I just feel it all, and I'm deeply appreciative and honored to be a part of this experience with y'all and co-create with you.
Thank you.
Thank you. The same. We send it back to you.
Yeah.
This
Send
was
it
an
back to you.
awesome episode of the Wise Monkey. Let's bring it to a close with blessings to
Yes.
all. Thank you.
Yes. Love and light to you all.
Everyone.
And have a good night, everybody. Mwah.
Bye.